Medieval. The treatment of Solomon in literature, art, and music also involves the sub-themes of the Queen of Sheba and the Shulamite of the Song of Songs. King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba was not a common subject until the 12th century. In Christian iconography, Solomon represented Jesus, and Sheba represented the Gentile Church. Hence Sheba's meeting with Solomon bearing rich gifts foreshadowed the adoration of the Magi. On the other hand, Sheba enthroned represented the coronation of the Virgin. Sculptures of the Queen of Sheba are found on great Gothic cathedrals such as Chartres, Reims, Amiens, and Wells. The 12th-century cathedrals at Strasbourg, Chartres, Rochester, and Canterbury include artistic renditions in stained glass windows and doorjamb decorations. Likewise of Romanesque art, the enamel depiction of a black woman at Klosterneuburg Monastery. The Queen of Sheba, standing in water before Solomon, is depicted on a window in King's College Chapel, Cambridge. Renaissance. The reception of the Queen was a popular subject during the Italian Renaissance. It appears in the bronze doors to the Florence Baptistery by Lorenzo Ghiberti, in frescoes by Benozzo Gozzoli, Campo Santo, Pisa, and in the Raphael Laghi, Vatican. Examples of Venetian art are by Tintoretto, Prado, and Veronese, Pinacotheca, Turin. In the 17th century, Claude Lorraine painted the embarkation of the Queen of Sheba, National Gallery, London. Piero della Francesca's frescoes in Arezzo, circa 1466, on the legend of the True Cross contain two panels on the visit of the Queen of Sheba to Solomon. The legend links the beams of Solomon's palace, adored by Queen of Sheba, to the wood of the crucifixion. The Renaissance continuation of the analogy between the Queen's visit to Solomon and the adoration of the Magi is evident in the triptych of the Adoration of the Magi, circa 1510, by Hieronymus Bosch. Literature. Boccaccio's On Famous Women, Latin, De Mulieribus Claris, follows Josephus in calling the Queen of Sheba Nicola. Boccaccio writes she is the Queen of Ethiopia and Egypt, and that some people say she is also the Queen of Arabia. He writes that she had a palace on a very large island, called Meroe, located in the Nile River. From there Nicola traveled to Jerusalem to see King Solomon. O. Henry's short story The Gift of the Magi contains the following description to convey the preciousness of the protagonist Della Dillingham Young's hair. Had the Queen of Sheba lived in the flat across the air shaft, Della would have let her hair hang out the window some day to dry just to depreciate Her Majesty's jewels and gifts. Christine de Pizan's The Book of the City of Ladies continues the convention of calling the Queen of Sheba Nicola. The author praises the Queen for secular and religious wisdom and lists her besides Christian and Hebrew prophetesses as first on a list of dignified female pagans. Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus refers to the Queen of Sheba as Saba, when Mephistopheles is trying to persuade Faustus of the wisdom of the women with whom he supposedly shall be presented every morning. Gérard de Nerval's autobiographical novel, Voyage to the Orient, 1851, details his travels through the Middle East with much artistic license. He recapitulates at length a tale told in a Turkish café of King Solomon's love of Balkis, the Queen of Saba, but she, in turn, is destined to love Adoniram, Hiram Abiff, Solomon's chief craftsman of the temple, owing to both her and Adoniram's divine genealogy. Solomon grows jealous of Adoniram, and when he learns of 3 craftsmen who wish to sabotage his work and later kill him, Solomon willfully ignores warnings of these plots. Adoniram is murdered and Balkis flees Solomon's kingdom. Leopold Sedersinger's Elegy pour la Reine de Saba, published in his Elegies Majeures in 1976, uses the Queen of Sheba in a love poem and for a political message. In the 1970s, he used the Queen of Sheba fable to widen his view of negritude and Eurafrique by including Arab-Berber Africa. Rudyard Kipling's book Just So Stories includes the tale of the butterfly that stamped. Therein, Kipling identifies Balkis, queen that was of Sheba and Sable and the rivers of the gold of the south, as best, and perhaps only, beloved of the 1,000 wives of Suleiman bin Daud, King Solomon. She is explicitly ascribed great wisdom nevertheless. Kipling perhaps implies in her a greater wisdom than her husband, in that she is able to gently manipulate him, the afrits and jinns he commands, the other quarrelsome 999 wives of Suleiman bin Daud, the butterfly of the title and the butterfly's wife, thus bringing harmony and happiness for all. The Queen of Sheba appears as a character in the Ring of Solomon, the fourth book in Jonathan Stroud's Bartimaeus sequence. She is portrayed as a vain woman who, fearing Solomon's great power, sends the captain of her royal guard to assassinate him, setting the events of the book in motion. In modern popular culture, she is often invoked as a sarcastic retort to a person with an inflated sense of entitlement, as in, "Who do you think you are, the Queen of Sheba?"